Hey, what's up guys? Coach Jameson here. Today we're going to be going over a rear foot elevated drop-in and some different variations we can get into with this. This is going to be very similar to what we see in our common gym exercises with things like Bulgarian split squats, a split lunge and things like that. I'm going to show you how in primal movement we just kind of change up some little subtleties with these movements to make it more optimal for the body and a better input. So as opposed to the body breaking down, we're really creating durability with these movements because we're doing our best to mimic the natural rotational patterns of the body that we see during running, walking, and jogging and things like that. So let's get started. You'll need a bench. I have a stick here. This is going to be for support for those of you that don't have a strong foundation at the foot and might need help with a little bit of balance. I'll give you a couple different views of this as well. I'm going to start with this front view just so we could see what's going on and how we're not working in this typical linear fashion that we see in the gym setting. So we'll start with the stick. Everyone start with it. This is a great workout even with just body weight, you'll notice. And there's ways we can progress it. In terms of adding weight to this movement, when I add weight, I'll wear things like a weight vest. I won't hold dumbbells and things outside my body really. I like having the weight tied onto my body so I can really focus on the movement, not having to deal with other things that are going to throw my balance off. So we'll start with the stick. And let's start with our left foot forward. So we'll do in this split stance. I'm going to stick and find my foot onto this bench behind me first. What I want you to notice with the foot is that I have it on the bench, top of the foot down with that heel pointing out. So I have that on the bench. In terms of how far I want my knee away or my foot away from the bench, I'm going to hop out so when I drop down, my knee doesn't shoot super far forward past my toes. I want to try to keep this knee stacked directly over the ankle and maybe allow just a little bit of forward movement, but not much. We're working the left side, so we'll start with the stick in this left hand. Heel is going to be down. First thing, we're going to start from the ground up, how we set this up. Strong foundation. So I want this foot, second toe pointing straight forward. And then I want you to notice I have pressure down into this big toe, but I'm funneling it more to the outer edge of the foot. So I'm not collapsing into the arch. This is the first mistake we see with like a Bulgarian split squat movement is we're going down into it with a sloppy foot. We're collapsing into the knee, causing excess pressure and load to these inner tissues when I'm trying to work this more to the outer tissues, the IT, the glutes, the hamstrings, the lateral calf. So again, just by adjusting and keeping a strong foot, notice how it keeps my knee from collapsing in and all the energy loading down and in when I want to load all this energy out and back. So that's the first thing. Strong, straight foot, arch is maintained. We're going to keep the heel down but light. I'm going to focus more of my weight towards this front outer edge of the foot, and raising the heel in this movement is something we can use as a progression. Now, the actual movement, I'm going to pull back into my left side. My chest is going to pitch forward just a little bit, so I'm not doing this vertical. This is another common mistake we see. Very linear, collapsing, and we're very linear with the torso. Again, when we walk, run, sprint, the chest is always going to be pitched forward in front of our butt, or it should be. This is our drive back here. So I want to make sure I'm pulling the hip back, chest reaches forward, and then I could start lowering that right knee towards the floor. I have this stick, and I'm going to drive up. Goal, where should I feel this? As I'm pulling back, again, I want to load primarily into the glute and hamstring. Are we going to feel quad? Other muscles working? Yes, but for the most part, I want to try to attack that glute, and that's where pulling back and opening towards this front side is going to really help me load that a lot better as opposed to this linear, more vertical pattern, which again, doesn't really translate into the rotational patterns we see with running and sprinting. So I'll just do a few reps here. Again, you can use a stick if you need help with balance. Boom, once you get balance down, we can release the stick. We can start working. And again, notice my arms. When I add weight to this and have a vest, I can keep my arms working in more of a locomotive pattern. Let's go and switch to the other side, just so we can see. Again, notice the subtle differences. I know my right side, my foot tends to grip a little bit more on my toes. Those are things I'm personally working on in my body. But again, straight foot, so second toe pointing forward. Nice strong arch, not collapsing. Keep that arch maintained. More weight towards that outer edge of the foot. Pull, right hip back. Chest comes forward. Now we're opening and loading back into this right side. Boom, boom, boom. And we'll just rep this out. My recommendations at first with this, to do it body weight, do it with the heel down. Get that down for like where you can go a minute, maybe 2 minutes of just repping that out body weight. Really master the motion, master a strong foundation, master loading into the glutes, and then we can add more weight. Let me give you a side view of this. So I'll move my camera over, show you a side view just so you can see the angles that I'm working my hips and everything else. Okay, from the side view now, you're just gonna get a little bit different of a perspective and can see how far I'm pitching my torso forward to really load into this back side. Because again, optimal forward movement, which again is our most basic human function, walking, running, sprinting, it should happen with the hips back. So again, a lot of the movements that we're doing, these traditional Bulgarian squats, you'll see the little simple modifications we're making to better translate into actual human movement as opposed to a very linear type of robotic pattern that we don't really see translate. So again, if you need the stick for balance, grab it. We'll start with this right side. Again, just so you can see the pattern now from a different view. Again, top of the foot down, the foot that's back, I'm kind of rotating internally with that back leg so the heel goes away. Again, right side, I'm gonna set that strong foot, arch is maintained, pointing straight. Now I'm gonna start by loading and pulling back. So notice it's kind of like an RDL type motion, but I'm adding a little bit of rotation so that hip's pulling back, think back and almost up to the sky, and now I can lower that back foot. I really wanna reach my chest forward. You can see how much of a tilt and forward lean I have into the torso. This is gonna keep most of the weight and pressure over this front side and load it into these tissues as opposed to this upright version where now I'm really feeling this left quad and it's kind of more of a stretch as opposed to more of a load. Again, I can work whatever depth I want here. I can go full range if I want. I can go all the way down, all the way up. I can stay at this top quarter range and mimic more of like what we'd see in a landing from a sprint, a jog, or a run. Again, there's no right or wrong in terms of range. I personally like working all of them. I'll burn out through the top range, then I'll burn out through a fuller range. Again, you can add a little jumps and baby pulses to these. The next progression is gonna be the heel up. Once we get that heel up, maintaining a strong foot and arch, now I could really load and do inputs with the movement that are really gonna transfer into forward movement. Let's go to the left side now. Again, right foot's up. Now you're gonna see this arch, foot working. I'll go a little baby heel up. Now it's the exact opposite. I'm opening and loading to this back left side. And I could work a deeper range. I can work a little baby pulses, really keeping that hip back. Some of you might be feeling foot, ankle, calf working a lot at first before we can really tap into these tissues on the back side. Because again, it's all about this strong foundation. Work with the heel down first. Develop a stronger arch. Develop a better toe spread. Again, doing these things for time and really mastering the basics and building a strong foundation is gonna help us build a better structure from the ground up. And we can get rid of the stick once we don't need any balance help. Once I'm feeling strong with that heel down, I can start lifting the heel up. Once I'm feeling really strong there, I can throw a weight vest on and start adding resistance. Or, which is even fun too, is getting into kind of plyometrics here. So I can load back, heels up, little baby jump and load. Again, I don't need to add a lot of pressure to start really getting this strong foot, straight, maintained arch to translate into the demands of life. Which again, adding that jump, loading into one side at a time. These are things that are going to translate better into things like our walking, our sprinting, and our running. That is a rear foot elevated drop-in, a great variation or alternative to your typical Bulgarian split squat or any sort of split lunge. Lunging motion, we add these same things into a lunge. So as opposed to staying very linear, I'm opening side to side. I'll be going over lunge variations in another video. Please let me know what you thought of this. Give it a try, let me know how it feels, and let me know if you have any questions. Coach Jameson out.